What's happening, everybody? Ryan Thomas here, live on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. 'Tis the season. It's finally here. Oh, boy, the 2020 NFL season, but in particular, the 2020 Buffalo Bills season is finally here. It felt like it was never going to arrive. Honestly, it feels like the draft was 10 years ago. I'm so elated that the season is finally here, especially in the 2020 year that we have had. Each one of us has faced our own trials and tribulations in these unprecedented times. And if I can entertain the masses just a little bit with this podcast, meanwhile keeping myself entertained during these COVID pandemic, quarantine, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, situation, I'm going to do that. Tonight on the show, I'm diving into the Week 1 matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. This one is from Orchard Park, New York. Unfortunately, we won't have 72,000 screaming fans cheering on our Buffalo Bills. But what we do have is each and every week, I will be on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast providing you my Buffalo Bills keys to victory for the week-to-week matchups that the Buffalo Bills will have in the 2020 NFL season. First off, we start with the New York Jets. I wrapped up this past week with CJ DeSimone and Kevin Jackson of the Jets Factor / Weapons Hot podcast. Weapons Hot, the name of the show now. They switched from the Jets Factor to Weapons Hot, and I enjoyed that show. If you haven't tuned into it just yet, I highly suggest you do so. It is a part of the Sports War Radio network. I guess you could say gauntlet with all the shows that they have. There are so many shows that they have under their umbrella. So, keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills, Week 1 edition against the New York Jets. I definitely feel this is a massive matchup. This is a matchup where we have to have a dominant win for the Buffalo Bills in this game. I think the tone needs to be set. The stage needs to be set as far as the Buffalo Bills being a real player inside the AFC as well as the AFC East. This has to be a welcome to the AFC East, the new AFC East, with the Buffalo Bills as the juggernaut of the AFC East, finally for the first time since the mid-1990s, somewhat late 1990s, since the days, I guess you can say, of Doug Flutie. Prior to that, Jim Kelly, of course, but it's been a long time coming since the Buffalo Bills have actually won the AFC East. If you need the exact year, I will say it. I hate to say it, but the last time the Buffalo Bills won the AFC East was 1995. They need to get it done. We need to see some sort of productivity from these Buffalo Bills to make it happen, to make it happen and not just blow this AFC East out of the water, but really be a AFC juggernaut like they were in the early 90s. And there is so much positivity heading into this season for the Buffalo Bills as far as the new acquisitions in Stephon Diggs, Zach Moss, the defense with A.J. Epinesa. There are a lot of positives to discuss during this season. And another positive as far as yours truly streaming on here is the fact that I can share this video live. I can go live, share it, and have all of you comment on this video. And that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully I see some of your comments in this video, and hopefully I'll be able to select some of the comments that you guys share, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that right now. Buffalo Bills, keys to victory versus the New York Jets. This is one that I've been very much looking forward to diving into. So, live show, so you guys can comment, throw your comments down. I'll be able to click your comments, read your comments, give you a shout out. One thing I love more than the Buffalo Bills is the Buffalo Bills fans, the best fan base in the National Football League. So let's get right to it. My number one key to victory, to start off, pound the rock, play smash mouth football. Unlike 2019, I think this 2020 Buffalo Bills team will be able to run the football far more aggressively than they did in the 2019 season. Last year in training camp, we had Devin Singletary, LaShawn McCoy, and Zach Moss. LaShawn McCoy was cut. Devin Singletary and Frank Gore were asked to share the carries, be that running back by committee as far as Singletary and Gore went. TJ Yeldon sparingly sprinkled in there. I think out goes Frank Gore, in goes Zach Moss. I expect true smash mouth football to be seen within this game. This New York Jets defense has some holes on it. In particular, the defensive line is their strength. I say Buffalo has to attack their strength, set the tone early, use the run game to open up the passing game as it does throughout the history of football. We have seen that. The run game definitely opens up the pass game. I want a heavy dose of Zach Moss in between the tackles. I want a heavy dose of Zach Moss in between the tackles, as well as Devin Singletary on the outside in space, catching the ball in the backfield. That's what I want to see in terms of this game plan from offensive coordinator Brian Daboll. I think we could potentially see that. Will we see that? It remains to be seen. I want to see them pound the rock, smash mouth football, and I want to see Zach Moss be featured in this offense as a rookie should be featured in any offense. When you look at this Buffalo Bills 2020 draft, all the mock drafts that I did leading up to the draft, I had hoped that Zach Moss would be a player that would fall to the Buffalo Bills in the third round. He did. I think he adds a wider power dimension than, of course, that of Frank Gore. With all due respect to Frank Gore, I would say that, Frank Gore is a little bit long in the tooth. Tim Devaney, I'm looking for J.A. to air it out, see how that backfield is without Adams. That's a great point, Tim, to have this offense air it out. Jamal Adams is not back there playing safety for the New York Jets anymore. Jamal Adams, I thought, somewhat, dare I say, pissed and moaned his way out of the Jets, and rightfully so. There is a lot of that going on with this New York Jets team as far as whether some of these players actually want to play for Adam Gase, whether some of these players actually want to partake in being a member of this New York Jets organization. And Adam Gase has the ultimate power, the ultimate say within the New Jersey Jets organization. And, I'm not going to call them New York. I think that's another thing for another day. But I always throw that little caveat to, the fact that the New York Jets are called the New York Jets, and yet they play in New Jersey. I just don't get it. We got Tim Devaney, William McMillan Jr., Carlos Poveda Jr., two juniors on there. What's up, boys? As well as Chad Spinner joining me on the show. You guys feel free to comment. Just like Tim, I'll put Tim's comment up there and read it for you guys to, hear my reaction. But that's my first key to the game. Pound the rock, smash mouth football, use the passing game to then open up the run, use the run game, to open up the passing game. Much to Tim's point, he wants to see Josh Allen take advantage of the fact that Jamal Adams is not back there for the New York Jets, and I think he will. Second key to the victory for the Buffalo Bills, pressure Sam Darnold. Quarterback is only as good as his offensive line. I think this offensive line for the Jets has a little bit of work to do in terms of the Jets from 2019 to 2020. I don't think the Jets did nearly enough to add to their offensive line. Granted, they did draft Mekhi Becton out of Louisville, left tackle. I really liked that pick for the New York Jets. I thought that was probably their best move this offseason in terms of adding new talent to this team in the New York Jets. That is, they need all the help that they can get in terms of surrounding Sam Darnold with as much protection as possible. Because one thing we know about Allen and one thing we know about Sam Darnold, Allen is a far better athlete than Darnold. I think even Jets fans would agree with me on that. Darnold, though, is more of a conventional pocket passer. If you disrupt that pocket, I'm not expecting Sam Darnold to do the things that Josh Allen can do athletically. I'm not expecting Sam Darnold to run for 50 yards like Josh Allen can. We've seen Josh Allen do that a lot. That's not something that's happened once or twice. We've seen Josh Allen tuck it down run it for a gain of 25, a gain of 30, a gain of 40, 50. We've seen that happen. I've never seen that from Sam Darnold, and I don't think we will. If this Buffalo Bills front seven is as good as I think it is, they could definitely pressure Sam Darnold. And if they can get to Sam Darnold, they would then neutralize the run game with Le'Veon Bell being the workhorse back for the New York Jets. And that's my next point as far as the New York Jets goes. Le'Veon Bell is a player that you have to stop. He's somebody that I think isn't as good as he once was. And I know we're judging that off of, the fact that Bell had a little bit of a down year last year, but I just don't see the guy as a player that is playing for the glory of the game and, things like that. He sat out a year and decided, hey, I'm going to sit out a year, wait for my big contract and get more money. He did that. He got that. And what effort did he really turn out? Not much of any. And I question that. If we pressure Sam Darnold as good as I think we can, as great as I think we can, I definitely expect to see this Jets defense, this Jets offense be neutralized, shut down, and Buffalo coming out with not just a one touchdown victory, not just a 2-touchdown victory, but this could potentially be a rout if we pressure Sam Darnold and get to him early. My third key to victory for this Buffalo Bills offense: limit turnovers. The New York Jets defense has basically been patchwork the last few years, but Buffalo cannot shoot themselves in the foot. Josh Allen cannot fumble. Josh Allen cannot throw interceptions, and namely, a guy that has been coughing the ball up a lot in training camp, reportedly from Joe Buscaglia, is Devin Singletary. We can't have that. We can't give the New York Jets more opportunities to stay out on the field offensively than what they deserve. This offense on the New York Jets is not that great. I think predominantly this team in the New York Jets changed their entire offensive complexion for the worst. Robbie Anderson gone. That was a move that I did not expect the Jets to make as far as letting go of Robbie Anderson. I'm not saying Robbie Anderson is Jerry Rice, but in terms of the continuity and in terms of the chemistry that Robbie Anderson had with Sam Darnold, I thought, man, that was really nice in terms of building something for the New York Jets. Now they bring in Brashad Perriman to replace Robbie Anderson. I don't think so. I don't think that's as formidable as Anderson and Darnold were. Denzel Mims, there's reports that he's a little bit dinged up. I think he will ultimately play, but can you really rely on a rookie wideout year one? It's very rare that a rookie wide receiver can dominate the game. The exceptions are the truly elite. Seemingly only the elite as far as rookie wide receivers that can really make that massive impact. I know there were a lot of really good rookie wide receivers in this 2020 NFL draft class, but Denzel Mims being one of them. But with this offensive line as patchy as it is on this New York Jets team, we pressure Sam Darnold. If we pound the rock and win the time of possession battle and then burn them on the outside with guys like John Brown, with the new addition, Stephon Diggs, I think this game has to be a rout. I think this game has to be a blowout victory for the Buffalo Bills to really send a message and set the tone in the 2020 season that this is not the same Buffalo Bills team that everybody talked about the last 10, 15 years, 16, 17 years. This is a completely new team. We're living in a new era, and the 2020 Bills are a force to be reckoned with. It's so much easier said than done, but they got to earn it. They have to earn it, and they have to do it early, and they have to do it often in this week one battle with the New York Jets. I am so excited, so pumped up for the week one post-game show that I'll have. So excited for everything that is going on with this show as far as fantasy football goes. The last 3 seasons, this is the 3rd season actually, so for the last 2 seasons, I have had the Thomas Take Sports Podcast Fantasy Football League, bringing in my viewers and some of my friends that have supported the show since the beginning. And each week I will have them on the show to dive into fantasy football matchups that are within the league and who to add, who to cut, all that stuff. So for fantasy football folks out there, for MMA fans out there, I think that this is going to be a show that you guys will enjoy, boxing fans as well, baseball fans as well. And I love bringing it to you, streaming it live on Facebook and YouTube as well, Twitter as well. So Tim Devaney said, agreed. Has to be a double-digit win. I think it's got to be a double-digit win. And in terms of my score prediction, okay, my score prediction for this Bills-Jets game, I want to respond to some of the comments here. Another comment that we have is, how often do you expect the Bills to sack Sam Darnold? I mean, as many times as possible. My final score prediction, though, for this Buffalo Bills New York Jets game is this, and I think you guys will hopefully agree to it with me. My final score prediction, Buffalo 28, the New York Jets 13, and I think those last two field goals will be garbage field goals by the New York Jets late in the game. Largely Buffalo holding a resounding 2-touchdown lead, 21-7, a late touchdown. Let's just call it Zach Moss inside the 5-yard line to run it in for 6. I do think Dawson Knox is going to have a good game in this game as well, and I do think that this will be one that Bills fans will be able to remember. Hey, remember Week 1 in 2020 when we beat the New York Jets? We kind of said, yeah, we're the beast of the East now. That's what I'm expecting. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. You can find it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's everywhere. On every major platform, you will find it. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, I guarantee you will love my show. Take care. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. Take care.